Our second guest today on Channel 18 is Bob Rand Foley. You all know Bob Rand by now. Bob Rand is the director of the Council on Aging, and she has 2 or 3 items that she wants to catch up with us.
Great. Well, thank you for tuning in. We do have a few items coming up in the next couple weeks I wanted to make sure people know about. They are in your newsletter, so if you receive our newsletter, you don't need to write anything down. And if you don't receive our newsletter, give us a call, and we'll get you a form that you can fill out, and you will receive it. It's a free newsletter, and it actually has the community center news. It has some recreation pieces to it, and the Council on Aging, and even a library page. So it's pretty all-encompassing. And you should be getting it if you're over the age of 59. So the first thing I want to talk about is we have reinstated the movies. And instead of movie night, it's movie day. The first one is going to be this Thursday coming up. Actually, I'm sorry, not this Thursday. It's the 27th. And it is going to be Dolphin Tale. So we are going to do that week, the last Thursday of each month. And on the day of Dolphin Tale, we'll decide with the group that's present what movie will be for April, because I didn't want to pick them for everybody. We thought that, you know, if you get some men and you get some women, you may have a different genre than you might if you had one or the other.
What is Dolphin Tale all about?
So Dolphin Tale is a great movie. It's one of those that you find that everything about it is good, it's clean, it's funny, it's sad at moments. There's no swearing, there's no wild sex, there's no, you know, all the things you could take a 5-year-old to it, honestly, or a 105-year-old, and they would both get something out of it. It's basically the tale of a dolphin that had, unfortunately, kind of washed up and had a problem, obviously, with its tail, T-A-I-L, and the tail ends up not serving the mammal well. So it gets brought by a child eventually to a center so that it can heal. And the whole story is about not only its healing process, there's like 3 stories at once. The younger boy that brings the mammal, also has a brother going off to the service.
Oh, I see.
Or, yeah, I think it's a brother or an uncle. That he adores and doesn't have the greatest home life in his own mind. So now he's being abandoned by the only person that he really cares about. Simultaneously, the dolphin veterinarian person who's taking care of him is potentially going to lose their business where he's being taken care of. So it's 3 or 4 little interwoven stories that are just very heartwarming. And obviously, it always ends well.
Very
but
good.
it has a great set of, you know, it's got Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd and a number of characters that you'll know, some wonderful actors and actresses.
Wonderful.
So it's a good one to start with, and I would urge you to join us. It's free, and it'll be at 1:30 on that day. They're usually about 2 hours. We also have coming up on March 26th our wonderful friend Marcia Mader, who is an RN as well as a licensed massage therapist, as well as a licensed zero balancing practitioner and a Reiki master. So she does all of those things in a free clinic that are about 15 to 20-minute appointments, and she will be here on March 26th beginning at 10 o'clock. So they do fill up fast. I just want to make sure people are aware that she will be here that day, and call for your appointment now, because if you wait until we get closer, you may not be able to get an appointment because they're usually pretty full. On the 27th also, we have a lot going on that day. We have a huge seminar. Unfortunately, it had to be canceled the last time because of snow. We've had so much snow this winter and reprogrammed a number of different seminars and activities. This one is from 9:30 to 11:30, and our wonderful community partners, Home Instead, are putting on a workshop for families or caregivers or anybody that would like to join us. It's free. They will have some refreshments as well. And basically the premise of the workshop is people that are in transition in being with their family members. So I could use Paul and I as an example. When my dad had Alzheimer's disease, we ended up hiring a full-time caregiver. But before we got smart enough to do that, we 7 kids decided that each of us would try to do that on a every other weekend basis. And it was a disaster. Not only did he probably not get the care that he should have, although we did our best, but it was exhausting to all of us as well as to my poor dad. And children do a great job. I'm not, saying anything negative about children taking care of their parents, because many do it and do it really well. The 7 of us Birtwells, however, were not really able to do that as well as we could have, for the mere fact that many of us were working. So it was trying to, work his schedule in between hours, which just really didn't work well. So what we ended up doing was hiring somebody and paying that person to take care of him so he could stay in his own apartment. And then we were able to visit and be son or daughter and not have to be also caregiver. So when that role changes, your role as a daughter anyway, or son, changes when you're taking care of a parent. But then when you have them go to a nursing facility or have somebody coming into the home, it then changes again. And you kind of feel like, okay, so what am I supposed to do now? I go to the nursing home or I go to his apartment and I go to visit, but what do we talk about, and what kinds of things can I do? And what if he gets angry? How am I supposed to react? And does the caregiver work with him if he gets angry, or do I work with him? Or, and it's sort of a mix-up, and you're not quite sure exactly what to do. So this workshop talks about anything and everything from a caregiver's point of view as to tricks of the trade, activities you can do with the person, if you see changing behaviors, what you should do and how you can handle them. It's just I've seen this workshop many times, and people come out saying, I wish I had done this before or sooner. So I would urge you, if you don't know somebody that you're taking care of or in your life, you might know of a friend who is, or another family member, and I would urge you to have them come to us. It is free, as I said, and it's on Thursday the 27th from 9:30 to 11:30. Activities, and I guess we could call them challenging behaviors. And I know Paul did a wonderful job with caregiving as well, so I know that it's a difficult role, and when you're husband and everything is going really well, I think it probably changes a little bit when you're then husband and caregiver.
It does in a lot of ways, but it all works. It all works in some way or another.
And that's because you made it work. There's some behaviors and some conditions that a lot of people can't do that. And that's when we end up with somebody in nursing facilities or in care homes or assisted living or something else. And the person in your position then goes as visitor instead of caregiver.
Well, I think Mary Ann wanted to stay at home, and I wanted her to. So it worked out.
Yeah, my dad did too, and I think we kind of found, like you, the best of both worlds, where you were able to get some help in, but
Yes.
it doesn't have to be you doing it all 100%. And I think that's the hardest thing.
The big thing for me was to get someone for a couple of hours at bedtime.
Yeah, that's a difficult
That
time of
was
day.
a time. You have to pay for whatever you can get. And it's usually, they get at least an hour extra, which was all right with me at that time.
And I think the fact that you recognized that is really important, because a lot of folks that are living with somebody are in denial for so long, first of all, that they have whatever the medical condition may be. And second of all, once they are diagnosed, it's, I can do it. And even if it isn't so much an I can do it, a lot of people, Loretta LaRoche would say, don't should on yourself. A lot of people do that. They feel like they should be able to do it. Women in particular. Men are usually better about being able to compartmentalize to say, this is the situation, this is what I need to do, and then put it into place. Women, not so much. They're often thinking that they have to do it all, and you don't. So I would urge you to come if you know somebody, or you yourself are in this position. And again, that's on Thursday, the 27th. The next day, to reward yourself, you can go over with us to Epic of Harwich, Senior Living. They, every month, the last Friday of every month, March 28th at 8 a.m., you have to be an early riser, I guess, they have a beautiful buffet breakfast that they put on for the Harwich Council on Aging. And when I say buffet, it's not like, you know, the little teeny muffins that you might get at Stop and Shop or pastries. They do have a little bit of that, but it's full eggs and bacon and sausage, and sometimes it's omelets, and it's a really great hot breakfast. So if you'd like to go out to breakfast, I always joke with my kids, that's my favorite meal. If you want to do Mother's Day, do breakfast. You don't need to spend money on lunch and dinner. Take somebody with you and go out to breakfast on the 28th of March at 8 a.m. at Epic, which is right on Route 124. And the other two quick things, we have our Girl Power program. If you could just mark your calendars, if you are a female over the age of 59 and under the age of 80 and under, we would love to hear from you. The Girl Power program basically pairs up girls in grades 5 to 8 with senior women age 60 to 80 who act as mentors to them. And there's an exercise piece that's a fun exercise. There's some journaling. There is a community speaker who comes in about important topics. And the girls, the idea basically is to empower these young girls so that when they get to high school and beyond, they don't have so many issues with bullying and some of the things that are not so great that go on in high schools. And to give them the strength, inner strength themselves to stand up for themselves at the same time while getting some exercise and learning what they need to do. And the very last thing is just to mark your calendar now for the April 20th, 1:30 Easter luncheon. And that takes place for the entire community in Harwich. It's a free will offering. It's at Holy Trinity's summer chapel called Our Lady of Annunciation, which is in Dennisport. So if you're interested, you certainly can call me or you can go to the church, but the number to call is 508-430-0027 and say you'd like to make a reservation for the Easter luncheon and how many in your party. That's it.
Well, that sounds like quite a bit.
It is. And again, it's in your newsletter.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, thank you for coming on and reviewing the newsletter for us.
Thanks.
And there are many things there for you to consider. I hope we see everybody at least one.